Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have here two articles discussing the Russian and Chinese economic situation, Russia's economic situation and China's economic situation, like the economies. Are they going up? Are they going down? Are they expanding? What's going on? We know that Russia has about 11,000 or about 15,000 sanctions imposed on it. I think it's 11 or 15. It's the most sanctioned country on planet Earth. More than Cuba as a number of sanctions. Why? Because Russia is more complex, the economy, than Cuba's. So, we'll see what are the goals of sanctions and what are the results. Now, what's the goal? What's the goal of a sanction? Let's say a country or an entity like a parent sanctions a child or sanctions another country. The goal is to change that country's behavior, change that child's behavior through pain. That's a painful experience. If I sanction you, impose sanctions on you, is because I want you not to have something, so you feel hurt, and then you will change something, or you can't do something. Therefore, you're going to change your behavior to the behavior I want. So I want to be in control of you. Now, if I impose sanctions 1, 2, 3, 4, and your behavior doesn't change, why? Because you're not hurt. What should I do? Try again, and try again, and try again. And I sanction you until I have no more sanctions, no more methods to sanction you. So I used all my aces. So what should I do next? Try something else. So we have here the state of the US and advanced economies state, and the state of the Russian and the Chinese economies. China also has some sanctions on it from the Americans, because did you notice that it's always the Americans sanctioning whomever? It's not Zimbabwe or Romania or, I don't know, it's just these guys. Or you have others sanctioning back, which is Russia, which is China. Why is that? Someone thinks is morally superior than everybody else. And that someone also thinks that he or she is entitled to tell everybody else how to behave. And someone thinks it's not only the prosecutor, it's also the judge, and it's also the enforcer, the police. But who appointed that entity as in these three hats in one? The answer is nobody. They said, I will do this. Why? Because I'm better than all of you. Are you? Okay, now, what do we have here? Let me show you the first article, coming from Business Insider. Russia, and this is from today, April 17th, 2024. Russia will grow faster than the US and all other advanced economies this year. Even their garbage bank IMF tells them. So the International Monetary Fund tells these guys and the other weasels, the other vassal states, that your economy is going to go down, or they're not going to be thriving. But guess whose economy will thrive? This guy's economy. The one that is under your sanctions. So what does that tell you? Sanctions don't work. That's one. But what I suspect is this. Yes, the American or the advanced economies will not grow as fast as Russia's. But certain businesses that we want to grow tenfold. You understand? So you say, well, let's say Cosmo's family income did not grow as much. Because let's say I have no income. Let's say my partner, my wife, whomever, has no income. But guess what? My children became millionaires. So yeah, we grew a little bit, but I'm starving. My partner is starving, or wife is starving, but one of my kids is a millionaire. So yeah, the household is not doing very well, but one is doing fantastically. So the same here. Yeah, maybe the US overall is not doing very well, or the advanced economies, but I can tell you three areas in the economy that do just fine, fantastically, actually. One, banking system. And when I say banking system, I'm not talking about your credit union bank. Because if you look at the landscape United States of America, how many banks do you know? Gigi, Mikey, Tipi, Kappa, 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 Kappa. But they're all owned probably by about 3 big conglomerates. So that's owned by 3, like the mass media, like the so-called free mass media, the mainstream mass media. It's what, 4, 5 monolithic companies that own 60%, 70% of the share. So it's actually 4 having a 60% share. I think it's more than that. But in the economy, the same way, in the banking system. You got 4 or 5, JP Morgan, this and that, Chase Manhattan, and another one. And that's it. They got what? 80% of the banking system? So I'm not talking about these guys here. I'm talking about those guys there. They're thriving. Why? They make money. How? How much you need? Okay, here. How many zeros is that? Here's the money. I gave you some money that I don't have. Oh, how much money we need? Oh, let's print. Ching, 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 ching. That's how these guys make money. That's the first one. The second one is the energy sector. Has a blast. Why? Look at the liquefied natural gas. Sells to Europe at a high price, 3 to 4 times more than the Russians sent gas through their pipes. And now they took over. They have a new market open, the European market, which was closed because they couldn't compete. They eliminated the Russians through sanctions, having the imbeciles sanction themselves, not about the Europeans. You don't buy because Russians are bad. These guys stop buying, and they buy from that strata of the economy, that little, how should I put it, energy. That's one example. So the first one, the one example is how they do it with LNG. The first one, banking. Second, energy. And the third one, military-industrial complex. The arms manufacturing companies, they have a blast. Look at the profits. I made videos on that. So these 3 are they grow faster than anything else that you've ever seen. But not the economy overall. So you got it? So this is very misleading. Now, Russia overall probably has the same problem. The military increased its production, but also the population still has this, still has that. Look how much money they pay for energy compared to their incomes. So let's go and look at the details. Russia's economy is predicted to grow by 3.2% in 2024 only, outpacing all advanced economies, including the US, the IMF said. That's not hard. Despite the war, high investment and robust private consumption have driven Russia's economy forward. There's high investment. Who invests? By whom? I thought that you guys are going to hurt the Russians by telling your fuckers to pull out. How many companies pulled out? Mercedes pulled out. BMW pulled out. And many others pulled out of Russia. High investment from where? From the state? You don't call that investment. Again, someone's lying somewhere. And robust private consumption. But if you consume, that means you have the money. I haven't heard Russia going down with their debt. I know this country is fucked up. But Russia has what? Not even 10% of its domestic product, brute product. How do you go? I'm like a retard right now. Because it comes GPA and it's not GPA. Jesus Christ. Gross domestic product. Jesus Christ. GDP. Fuck me, Freddy. Old. So anyway, but old means your brain doesn't work fast, but your memory has it stored. So it's just as we get older, our ability, the speed of is like the speed on a computer to retrieve an information. You have the information, but you need longer to bring it. But you have more information than others. So let's say your storage much bigger, but it works slower. But you have a bigger library, but you have an old person going and get the book from the fucking shelf and bring it to you. Instead of someone who has 20 books and you got a teenager. Pop, pop, boom, boom. But we don't have the book. We don't have the book. We don't have the book. So that's, anyway, let's move back here. So again, robust private consumption have driven. The IMF expects, right here, expects the momentum to fade in 2025. They've been expecting that since 2022, February 24th, through the sanctions, and nothing happened. Shut the fuck up. You lost your, if you had any, credibility, IMF, for a long time. To fade in 2025, with Russia's growing at a rate of 1.8%. Okay, well, this is Russia, right? This is Russia. The country's war economy is forecast to grow by 3.2% in 2020. And it says, outpacing expected growth for other advanced economies, including US 2.7%, Germany 0.2%, which is going to go in stagflation, and stagflation is fucked up. The UK 0.5% in the same area of garbage, and Japan 0.9%. IMF said in a report published on Tuesday. But hey, we're not done with that, my friends. I have another article to show you another country which also has some sanctions imposed on it, doing even better than all of them. Can you guess who that country is? I already mentioned it at the beginning. China. All right, let's go to China via Sputnik Russia. China's first quarter growth beats forecasts, building strong foundation for whole year. That's why Yellenstein went over there to tell them, hold on, we can't compete with you. We're gonna do this with you right now. You know what? We're gonna sanction you. Why? Because we do the same thing as we did with those imbeciles in Europe. We have them cut their legs so we can come and then amputate them and say we're the good guys, but we are the ones who cut your legs off. And China says no. You'll see. They already said no. They gave Yellenstein some secret mushrooms and shipped her over to us, to imbeciles us. But anyway, now here it is. Last month, Beijing announced an annual growth target of around 5%. Last month, for the Chinese economy, which is the world's second largest after the United States. China's economy grew faster than expected in the first 3 months of the year. Official data released by the country's National Bureau of Statistics has demonstrated. The PRC's gross domestic product, GDP, thank you very much, growth accelerated to 5.3% in January-March quarter, slightly above the 5.2% figure seen in the last quarter of 2023, according to the numbers released. Could that be fudged? Could that be? Yes, they could. The point is, I didn't hear the Americans not saying that, or the IMF, or the World Bank of Yellenstein. Remember this, 5.3, and we got here, what, 3.2, Russia. And the other guys are having what? Supposedly, the Americans have 2.7, Germany this, UK this, and Japan that. So, what should we do? I tell you, everything goes according to their plan. So what does it mean? If my economy goes to shit, and I have only 3 areas, the banking, I have banking, which is just a profiteer bank. Yeah, they help you. Okay, yeah, they help you. Then give me the money you have with no interest. That's inflation. Why is inflation? It's a natural thing. That's not true. It's not true. But anyway, you can say, well, things erode and so on. Well, yes, it's true, but you can't put them together like that. Look into it. Look how these guys started with inflation. How inflation, we figured out there's inflation, and we have, how do they call them? Every 5 years, like a cycle, economic cycle. How come we have that? Well, because companies think in cycles. Really just woke up and said we're going to do it 5 years? Look into that. Why do we have regular, I would say, crash from time to time. Well, that's cycle, that I was talking about. All right, and I think we're just controlled by all this garbage, my friends, and that's one reason why we are limited to how much we make and how much we have to work to make that will allow us through taxes, through payments. We can give you more. Yes, you can. Everything is just controlled. Not everything, but anyway. So let's go back here. What would you do? Well, obviously the guys, or the campaign friends, they have a blast, so they're doing just fine. Screw you guys. Screw you guys. And we have to use electricity, right? Gas and other things, right? We have to use money. We have to borrow money, right? Or the companies have to have loans. They can function without a loan. With a bank, investments, it's a different thing. And then we always under attack. So they will defend us. So what do you want? And the rest of us, hell with you. Maybe other people need to be in charge to change things, get rid of these profiteers, or at least limit their power to control and their profiteering, racketeering, whatever you want to call it. So Russia's under sanctions, but its economy grows. After 2 years of thousands of sanctions, I think that this is not meant to hurt Russia now. I think it's just meant to have some make a big profit. I mean, they can't be this tarded. I mean, they can be, but I think they're smarter than being smarter. I think they're smart. I think we would just make all this thing appear as we're hurting Russia, where actually we're looting in these three sectors: banking, energy, and arms manufacturing companies, or arms manufacturing. That's what I think. Now, China, again, these guys want to stop China producing cheaper stuff that can compete with our stuff. Why is that? Well, if you pay, right, $20 a minimum wage in California, what do you expect? They say, well, MLC, they pay you enough. Yeah, but go and buy a house in California and see how things work over there. And why is that? Oh, the inflation, that's standard of living. That's what standard of living? It's abnormal to go in a state where you buy the same house with $1.2 million, then in other state you buy it with $300,000 in the same federation, whatever. It's just abnormal. Something is going on, don't you think? Or take a bar of Mars, chocolate bar. How much you pay here versus how much you pay in Romania. How is that possible that those guys are allowed to pay? Oh, because their economy, they produce over there, blah, 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 blah. So why can't we do the same thing? And because you have the means to pay more. So I'm going to sell it to you more. What the fuck? Anyway, that's business, Samuel. Yeah. That's why we have so many sanctions and so many regulations, because it's a business and we let the invisible market's invisible hand, not really invisible, it's like grabbing everything. And who's in control of that? The guys who impose sanctions on Russia to destroy Russia, supposedly, or China. They want to control them, not to destroy them. Thank you very much. Control them, being in charge and telling what to do, and I make the profits, and you are over there working for me. Modern slavery. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.